one art gallery is great in a town, but when you have three or four, it starts to become a destination, that synergy. And
Yeah.
so we really want to all work together, and it's really important for us.
This is A Line Around Your Thoughts, a podcast that centers on conversations with artists, writers, musicians, and creatives from around the Inland Northwest. I'm your host, E.J. Iannelli. When Coeur d'Alene's Art Spirit Gallery closed its doors in February after a 30-year run, there was a looming question about what might take its place in terms of both location and mission. Well, now we have an answer. On June 12th, during Coeur d'Alene's monthly art walk, the MODUS Gallery will open its doors. And MODUS has a different model. It's not just a fine art gallery, it's also a professional artist collective with 5 member owners and as many as 22 members total. For this episode, artists Toby Keough and Grubb sat down to talk about who some of those members are, the big plans that they have for the gallery, and the general MO of MODUS. Before we get into that, if these weekly deeper dives into the regional art scene are important to you, you can support A Line Around Your Thoughts as part of our Patreon community. Head to patreon.com/ALAYT to learn more about how to keep these conversations going. And thanks to our Patreon sponsor tier member, Mel Antuna Hewitt, whose work you can find online at librobuch.com. I am sure that Mel would love some company in these pre-episode shoutouts, so please consider signing up as a sponsor tier member yourself. Then again, if Patreon isn't your thing, but you'd still like to become an episode or a season sponsor, visit our website at alaytpodcast.com for ways to sponsor and support. Between episodes, you can get updates and engage with us on Mastodon at alaytpodcast@pnw.zone, on Blue Sky at alayt.bsky.social, and Instagram at alayt_podcast. And now, on to the Rogue Heart Media Studio. So welcome, Toby, and welcome, Chris.
Hi.
Hello.
Thanks for having us here.
I am glad, and I have been looking forward to this, as I think a lot of people will be, because, when you have a new gallery going into the space where an old gallery and an established gallery once inhabited, I think there are going to be certain expectations about that. So for the folks who are saying, oh, goody, MODUS, it's Art Spirit Mark II, how were you navigating some of those conversations?
That's kind of interesting because I've sat outside. There's a wonderful brewery right next door called Chalice, and we'll sit out there and have a beer. And as people are walking by, I hear their comments about the fact Art Spirit isn't there anymore. They're like, oh, it's such a shame. But there's some new place coming in. And so I'm kind of this, bird, listening in on their conversations. And, we're taking a lot of what Art Spirit gave to the community, and then we're changing some things. So it's, it definitely is a new iteration of kind of a continuation, but a new iteration as well. It's a hybrid in a lot of different ways that I'm sure we'll talk about. So there are going to be a lot of people that show up. It's such a tourist town, right? So we get a lot of people coming in the summers, and they were there last summer and they saw this gallery, Art Spirit, and they're going to come back there and see something a little different. And so we'll have some traffic that we inherited, I guess we'll say, and hopefully they'll be pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, it's nice to be a little birdie kind of listening in, because I think that's what everybody wants. You always want to kind of get into people's heads and say, okay, what are they really thinking about this?
Yeah.
But even before we started recording, I mentioned the phrase MO, and you said, oh, by the way, that's where we derive the name from. So clearly there is a mission here. There's an intentionality behind it. So what is the modus of modus operandi?
Yeah, well, Art Spirit and the original owner of Art Spirit, Steve Gibbs, was such a staple in the community. For 30 years, I think he had Art Spirit even before it was in the current location. And he really fostered the art community in Coeur d'Alene, and it's a vibrant community. I mean, the number of artists per capita there, of people who live there, is astonishing, really. And that's largely due to Steve Gibbs and what he started in Art Spirit. So we want to carry that on. Art Spirit went out of business in I think April, or end or beginning of April. And we heard about that. It was publicized, and seized the opportunity to speak with the building owners. Anytime a property on Sherman Avenue in downtown Coeur d'Alene comes open, it's like a piranha feeding frenzy of people who, it's like, real estate agents. There's so many real estate agent offices down there. Restaurants, wine and cigar bars, that and a lot of people put in, not applications, but proposals of what they want to do with the space to the building owners, and we were one of them. And they chose us over, all the other opportunities that they were faced with, mainly because we wanted it to be a continuation of that community art feel that was there for so many decades. So
Yeah, and there's a legacy that you're upholding, and I think there should be like a certain appeal in that, or a certain allure. And it's good that the real estate agent wasn't completely mercenary, because
and it wasn't even, actually, it wasn't even the agents, it was the building owner themselves, who
Gracious.
who love art, and wanted to see not just a continuation of the art itself, but the community aspect of it. And we're very community oriented. So that was part of our proposal, and so they could have made more money. Restaurants pay much more than art galleries do, for rent. So you're right, it wasn't about the dollars for them necessarily. It was about continuing the legacy. So yeah.
And there are some economics involved, and I think we can get into those in a minute. But I would like to hear from you, Toby, as kind of one of the core founders of this, and why you decided to enter into this venture. Was it were you dragged kicking and screaming, or was it something that you volunteered for as soon as you heard about it?
Yeah, well, actually, the first conversation about it opening up was at book club with Chris's wife, Sheila, and several of the founding people and artists. And we're like, what can we do? We all do art. And we were really excited about it and dreamt it, and then kind of started talking right from there. And so from the get go, sign me up. Let's hang some art.
And why did you decide this decision almost collectively instead of a single owner emerging? Did it just automatically take shape and naturally take shape as a collective?
I think so. I would think that we all have a drive to want to show art and build community. And I think it just was organically that way, where we're like, if we link arms, we could do this. It's something that I think when you come together, there's excitement and more creativity and ideas. And in that, I think we all were on board for that.
There's definitely a synergy with the and we all are great friends, but I think a big part of it too is sharing the load, because you know like a lot of industries, like any industry, there's way more to it than most people think. We don't just go hang pretty art. I mean, gosh, we've been working for months and months on just setting up the business, and figuring out how we're going to do things. And we have
If we can afford the pennies to do it.
exactly, there was all the numbers and everything. I'm glad you brought that up, because it's really hard to have business partners. It seems like there's always one or two that are really carrying the load, and can result in bitterness or whatever. And partners are just hard to have. But the group of people that we have, it's absolutely amazing. We don't always agree on everything, and that's fine. We know that we don't have to, but everyone is pulling their weight. I mean, Toby has been in there, and her family. Her husband's a contractor, Sean. He's an amazing contractor.
Yeah, that's a good asset to have right
Oh,
there.
it
Yeah,
is. It's my
absolutely.
favorite.
And
You dream it, he builds it.
her daughter has been in there painting. So it's really, everyone has been pulling their weight. And I don't think any of us, to feel like we're doing more than the others. So that's kind of magic. It really is magic, and I'm so glad to be a part of that with these people. So
And you're kind of like the artistic Justice League in that everybody's coming at it with their own superpower because you have a real range of disciplines that are represented here. So can you talk about some of your backgrounds and then also how those are augmented by the other co-founders?
so I'll start. I guess Toby's handing it to me. Hand off. Yeah, so I'm a bronze sculptor. A lot of my sculptures are concrete and plaster as well, but mainly bronze figurative sculpture. And the way that my MO, my modus, is a very technical work. When I sculpt a face, I'm taking 100 measurements, and I make up for a lack of talent with a really good work ethic, is what I say. So, and my background is I'm a structural engineer. That's really how I pay the bills, which thankfully affords me to sculpt what I want to and not necessarily just because it's commercially viable. I have a lot of weird sculptures that are, I sculpt for me, and it turns out that other people kind of like what I do too. So that's great. I can make some
I
money
think
from
that's
it.
the ideal,
But
isn't it?
it really is. And I think if I am happy with it, I think others will be too. And so being an engineer allows me to, to be free and not have to depend on the art. But with that background, I'm the numbers guy. I'm the one who set up the business and, got our
Thank God.
permits and
Praise be.
yeah, which and with the group that we have and those superpowers you were talking about, we all really mesh well together because we don't, there's not a lot of overlap. So that's kind of what I guess my superpower is. I'm a little bit of a quarterback, and just I'm detail oriented, and you got to have that in the background.
And
So
you're
that,
good with numbers.
and I'm good with numbers. I better be, otherwise bridges will be falling around the country and buildings.
Exactly.
And in terms of your art, and I don't know if this is something that appeals to your structural engineering side or your penchant for measurements, but you have a fascination with the hand, or so I observed. And so I was wondering why you were returning to the trickiest appendage on the human body when it came to sculpting.
Yeah, well, it is. I've always been fascinated with hands because they tell such a story. As you sit next to your grandfather and you see his big old knuckles from a lifetime of labor, and they tell such a story, and you recognize your partner's hands, your children's hands, your parents' hands. You just see them, and why is that? I mean, there's so much geography in a hand, and so much expression when you're playing the guitar, or the piano, or just talking as I'm doing now, which no one can see. There's so much story there, and so I'm just drawn to them in that way, and I don't know. I guess it wasn't an intentional thing where I'm just good, but it seems like the way I want to express myself in sculpture tends to lend itself to some kind of hand movements or hand positions. So, but yeah, it is a technical part of the body for sure.
And I don't know if this is just the cluster of sculptures that I happen to see, but you also seem focused on maybe melancholic figures. And even one I saw, a falling girl. And so it was this way to capture kind of the dynamic motion of falling in a very resilient medium.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not a very emotional person. I'm pretty optimistic, and I don't get down a lot. And I think that I love melancholy music. I would much rather listen to sad songs than, because I think they make me feel something. And so I think the a lot of my sculptures are about some kind of state of mind, some kind. I think of an emotion that moves me, something I see in a movie. A lot of times it's lyrics. I love. I mean, I'm a musician as well, and I love great lyrics and great chord progressions, and so a lot of the titles of my sculptures are actually come from a line of a song that made me really feel something. So then I ponder how can I emulate that feeling in a body position, or a raise of an eyebrow when I do a face, or tension in the hands or something. And so I labor over that. And so I think it's easy for me to feel happy because I'm happy most of the time. Maybe Sheila would not say so. I don't know. Come to my house late at night, right? But I think it's my way of exploring that little bit melancholy and darker side. Yeah.
And I wasn't aware that you were a musician because I only found out just, before we started talking that you were a pilot as well. So I said, oh, you're a structural engineer. And you said, oh, by the way, I'm a pilot. So we can add musician to another one of those hats.
Yeah.
And that maybe explains why we see the fusion of the guitar fret and the hand holding the cassette. So this is the two loves, the hand and the cassette coming together.
Yeah. Well, Sheila will tell you I have way too many hobbies. And I play bass in bands for decades, and I love doing sound engineering. That's my favorite thing to do now. I was an adequate musician. I wasn't a great musician. Again, my work ethic, I showed up ready and prepared. I knew my stuff, but I wasn't going to be out there doing a flea solo or anything. So, but yeah, it's just another one of the branches I like to put out there. So
another string in your bow.
Yeah, exactly.
So Toby, we've heard from the numbers guy and the sculptor guy. I'm curious about how you do mostly large scale botanical art.
Yes.
And I'm curious as to how that factors and feeds into this.
Well, I'm not sure about how the botanicals directly feeds into it.
Because you have done
except-
storefronts. I was wondering if that's going to make an appearance here.
Well, not yet. Maybe if there's an opportunity to paint a side of a building, count me in. I've kind of expressed that in the bathrooms. I've done a little installation and mural work in there, and yeah,
And so, aside from the botanical art, how else are you contributing? Are you a cheerleader? I know that your enthusiasm is often praised as like one of your key assets. So
Yeah, I think I am definitely a cheerleader. I'm a go-getter. I'm a physical worker. So I've been painting and tidying and doing all the things that will physically for the space will be my role there. And I love to wear fun outfits. So all I can think about is all the crazy outfits I can wear to my own art gallery.
and will
and
you be
creator.
exhibiting?
Yes, I will.
Okay, and
Yes.
on a permanent basis?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
All of us will have some kind of representation in the gallery, all 22 artists of our goal. And then each of us will have our own show or shared with two people, a show. And yeah, so that'll be great.
And so, from the get go, what sort of work are you going to be exhibiting there?
Botanicals, flowers.
Well, I was just wondering, like,
Yeah.
are we talking
I
large
just-
canvases,
Oh
small
yeah,
canvases?
I just finished a piece of bright pink poppies and yellow background in Corningware, and it's 6 foot by 4 foot. So yeah, I'm excited to be able to play around with the ideas I have in my head, and I love large scale. So gallery has a lot of wall space, so I'm really excited for that.
She's going to fill up our 16
Yeah.
foot high walls.
Well, yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you have to maintain that balance.
Right.
And
yes.
it's interesting. We are a good pair that demonstrates the two different approaches to the art. Because I don't know, Toby. I mean, you're so much more creatively free flowing. I
Yeah.
mean, do you even know what you're painting when you sit down to do it? I mean, what?
Rarely, if a flower speaks to me, and then it just comes and very intuitive. I start with like a piece of chalk and just draw it on. That's also how I do murals and stuff. I don't necessarily project, although I did do a logo for a restaurant and I projected it for the first time, and that was crazy. But yeah, so I just am more intuitive, and I just start with an idea and go with the flow of a space or the canvas or whatever is
So
coming up.
You don't even have like a flower in mind
No,
when you're
so
starting,
a lot times I'll think of a flower I want, then I'll look for an image and go from there. But generally not much more than that. Yeah.
And I have to say, is knowing that you have this exhibition space or this space where
Yeah.
you can show, is that kind of a motivating force in creating more art? Because I can imagine that it would be incredibly discouraging if you're creating and then you have no place to show it.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like that's also a place in my art career where you get a show at coffee shops and like our first Fridays, and it's very like here and there little pieces. And because I do such huge pieces, it's probably like one piece. And so this gives up me more of an opportunity to just produce and, be able to just create more and more and have a place that you could put it in.
Yeah, and I think the size of your work. Now, just so folks get an idea of the scale that we're talking about,
Yeah.
in feet, what is an average size canvas for you?
Like my smallest that I like to work is like 3 foot by 4 foot, 3.5 foot by 4.5
So you're not
foot.
doing
So
miniatures.
no, 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 no. That's too much.
So smallest is 3 foot by 4 foot,
Is generally.
and then we go up to
Yeah, the
sky's
one
the
I
limit.
just finished 6 foot by 4.5 feet, 5 foot. So
Well, if you
yeah.
count your murals,
Yes,
then
murals are
and
huge.
yeah, she gets into some big work for sure. But those are hard to haul around.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And so let's talk about some of the other folks who are joining you as part of the MODUS
Yes.
Justice League. So you've got Maya Ramsey, who does Maya Melissa Pottery. Talk to me about her background and why she joined you on this venture, aside from being a friend.
Yeah,
Is that book club?
she was at book club. I was not at book club.
No.
Because it's an all girls book club, all ladies book club. But yeah, they just started these discussions in this book club. Like, what do you guys think? We should do something like this. And Maya was there, and there were a few others that were part of it originally that decided that they just didn't have the time to devote to the ownership of it, but are members still. But Maya she's an amazing ceramicist. She is our marketing guru. And she has an Instagram she's got 151,000 followers on Instagram. I mean, she knows what she's doing. She goes to, I don't know what they're called, these national ceramics shows, right?
Yeah,
And she
yeah.
has a booth there, and people go there to meet her. She's got quite a following. So she's amazing. She's smart. She's very creative, and she's
Fun, super fun.
very fun. And she's getting more and more into the sculptural side of ceramics instead of doing the
Mugs.
with the mug. Well, mugs definitely, but she does pots and everything too. But yeah, she's amazing, and she's a workhorse too. She has built our website.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she's
Wow.
dealing with Shopify, which, getting all of our stuff so we can purchase it online. So she has a lot of the technical background for selling that really helps us, because that is something I do not want to do.
Same. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, the fact that you can divvy up the labor like that is just really good.
Yeah,
and so,
so good.
a collective starts to make more sense. And then you've got Hannah Kunz, who does abstract painting, these swirls. And again, because it's abstract, you can detect maybe certain figures in there, but it's not as concrete as, say, a realist interpretation, with occasional splashes of color. So talk to me about her work, and then, again, her superpower that she's bringing to this.
Yeah. Do you want to? So all of her work is with printmaking materials. So she's a printmaker. And she is the art teacher at Coeur d'Alene High School, leads the department there, and very smart. And her superpower is sales. She just wants to sell the art. She wants to spread the love of art. And she's got plans to, in getting home designers in and showing them our space. And she is all about sales. And of course, everyone's put in labor. We've had painting parties where there's 16-foot extension rollers all over the place going, and people on their knees, and Hannah is there. And then her husband's an asset too, Tom. He's been there working as well. So, but she's in charge of sales, and
She's a cheerleader for sure too.
She really
She
is.
is just a little love button of joy. She just is so sweet.
And one of the things you mentioned earlier about, the fact that we have the space is motivation to create the art. That's definitely Hannah. The first person I thought of was Hannah, because she does quite large prints. I guess they're also 4x5, 4x6, And she said, I just need a place. I need a place to hang this work. I have so much work. I need a place to hang it. And now she has her own place. So we're excited for her and to see how her, journey launches from here as well.
Well, it's also good if that place that you hang it is not just exhibiting it, but also a potential sale.
Yeah, for sure.
Because Yeah. Those economics that we talked about,
Yeah, it's,
or that we have yet to talk about in more detail.
We unabashedly want to move art, and all of the members that we have know that is our priority, and along with that is going to come a lot of fun and a lot of community. But we're not a nonprofit. We want to make money, and we want to move their art, and they're all everyone is volunteering. We don't have any paid staff at all, so that helps the economics, by the way. And so when you're a member, you have to put in some time, sitting at the gallery and so forth. But
and does membership cost?
Yeah.
Is there a fee for membership?
Yeah, and it's all on the website. It's $150 a month to be a member. We're only accepting up to 22, and the reason for that is we want to have a 2-person show for 11 months out of the year. So every artist gets once a year have their own show with one other person, and then the 12th month, December, we'll have kind of a small work show where everyone, the entire group, gets to show their work. So yeah, so it's the $150 per month. And then you have to also put in some time. You're on, Toby is in charge of the staffing schedule. Yeah, you got to put in some time. So, but really 1 day a month is all that we're asking. So that's pretty.
That seems
small.
reasonable.
Yeah.
Right. And we've heard
Until you get on the calendar, and then it's like, oops.
Yeah. How am I going to fit that in?
Exactly.
And we've heard about significant others and spouses. Toby, your spouse is helping out with contracting skills. Your significant other, Chris, is also involved in this in a fundamental way, and also a second ceramicist then.
Yeah. So Sheila is, I think, as far as I know, she might have been the one to bring the topic up
she did.
over,
Yes, in book
at
club,
the book club. So the famous book club. Yeah, she is. She's an extremely creative. She loves to host events. She loves to plan events and decorate for events, and she's done so much of the background work. And we are a team. We are one member, the two of us, and so everyone else gets two for the price of one, I guess, in that sense. But she's a big cheerleader as well for the whole group, and really adds a sense of elegance to the space, with the way that she likes to curate shows and to decorate. So she's an invaluable asset for sure.
Yeah, I do worry that there's been so much talk about this book club that people are going to be listening and being like, yeah, MODUS, that sounds great, but I really want to be a part of this book club.
Yeah. Well, I do have to say that Jenny, who runs Emerge, in Coeur d'Alene, really is the hub. That's really how we all know each other, is through Emerge.
Well, that's Emerge doing Jenny. Its work, right?
Exactly.
As an artistic catalyst.
Growing people up, right? And sending them off like you do your late teenagers going off to college and, becoming something of themselves. So, Jenny is a
asset
really
to our community,
an asset and a spark, really, that caused this to flame up and for us to kind of go off and do this journey. So,
and in terms of founding members, the one anomaly, as I see it, because I'm familiar with her public art, and her work generally seems to be in public art, and this is Sarah Thompson Moore, and she's responsible for, among many other things, the Seeking Place, which is a very popular sculpture and interactive sculpture down in Riverfront Park. So how do we make the transition or the translation from public art into gallery space? Like, what is Sarah bringing to it?
Yeah, and by the way, that sculpture you're talking about is 45 feet by 25 feet by 12 feet high.
It even dwarfs Toby's canvases.
That's right. And
until we collab.
and she, Sarah, while we are trying to ramp this thing up, which is taking a tremendous amount of time from all of us, is working on two other pieces of public art, one that's going to Whitworth College and another one in a park in Seattle. I mean, when Sarah is not meeting with us and helping to do the things that she does, which I'll talk about, she's got her welding shield on and is welding steel bars for a big sculpture at Whitworth.
It's badass, actually.
She has a, I always say, she is she's a rock star. She's got a 1-ton bridge crane in her studio. It's pretty amazing. But she is very smart. She's very artistically smart. and she has really helped us develop a lot of our procedures. She's mainly in charge of curating, and not necessarily curating all the shows herself, but making sure they get curated properly. Because Toby will maybe curate some, and Sheila and Hannah and Maya, but she's in charge of all that, and just extremely thoughtful. And when you're talking about her public art, people don't know she's an amazing sculptor as well, and she's a painter, and she casts concrete sculptures that are amazing, and spheres. She's going to be she's the most multimedia of all of us, I think, right? Wouldn't you say, Toby?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So she has plenty of work that goes in smaller spaces. But yeah, her big pieces take her, a couple years to make.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah.
she came on late. We wanted another owner, and it was you, Toby, I believe, that said,
No, Maya, I
"Oh,
think.
was it Maya
Yeah.
that said, what about Sarah?" And we're like, "Oh my gosh,
Duh.
I'm embarrassed for not even having thought of that myself." So she came on late and has put in every bit as much work as everybody else has. So
And I kind of want to talk about not just the maybe the static art that you'll have in the space, but also how you kind of plan to activate the gallery and activate the area around it and engage with some other businesses. But I do want to touch on at least some of the artist members that you've already managed to kind of sign on so far. There's Brian Achenbach, who I hear is just an absolutely fantastic human being, very extremely patient.
yeah, he's sitting behind us in the studio here.
And you've got folks who I think should be kind of local household names by now, like Ronaldo Gil Zambrano and Chris Kelsey.
Yeah.
So some of these other folks, how did they get involved in this? And, did they reach out to you? Did you reach out to them?
Well,
We reached out to them. We're like, we want these fantastic artists that we know, and shoot, let's just see if they'd be on board. And everyone who's come on board is excited about it.
yeah. Yeah,
Definitely.
and there's a lot of Spokane artists. I mean, Helen
Yeah.
Parsons is a household name in the art community here in Spokane.
Nisi Fry.
Nisi Frey,
Frey.
yeah, her gallery is right next to Chris Kelsey's, I guess, on that same strip there. And so, yeah, there are several people that we reached out to. We handpicked, Brian included, one of them. And then after that first round, we kind of opened it up to, that we started getting applications from people that none of us knew, which was really exciting.
That's cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because it was really gaining some steam. And I think in the art community in Coeur d'Alene and in Spokane, people are very excited about this, and we hope that translates to the people who buy the art, not just produce the art. But
Yeah, I think they're also excited about being a bigger picture, not just for, like being a part of a community and like working together for these goals, and not necessarily come drop off your art and it gets hung. I think people, I'm a big part of the community here in Spokane of artists, and I just love how people want to come together and raise each other up. And I'm really excited to see how that translates into the space as well.
yeah, for sure. And, we've got Kathy Gale. Michael Horswell is one of our artists, and he has been with Art Spirit since they started, like 30 years ago, when they were in a little house on the east side of downtown. And he has come on as one of our members as well. So
Jen Erickson.
Jen Erickson as well. Yeah. And Jen is on faculty at NIC, in the art faculty there.
Jill McFarland. Yeah.
Jill McFarland as well. She's an amazing printmaker. Jill Keough was in Art Spirit also, right? She's down in Pullman, I believe, right? Oh, Andrew Parker, of course.
Oh, Andrew, yeah.
Andrew Parker is his work is amazing. He's an architect. He's a licensed architect. And actually for our 2-person show, Andrew and I are both partnering, because we have the structural engineer and the architect. He does paintings that are just amazingly detailed, and then I've got the sculpture. So we've got this kind of combined head show that we're doing, and that's in July. So we're the first kind of solo shows after this group show that we're doing in June.
Can I just ask you to backtrack? You said combined head show.
Yeah.
Okay. Do tell. Give me a little more detail on
Well,
this.
I mean, and I'm talking about just his technical life and my technical life, and now we both do art, so it's just kind of it's not as odd for an architect to be an artist because a lot of their work involves that. It's a little more odd for a structural engineer, I guess, to be an artist, but we both just kind of live in that professional world and in the artistic world. We kind of have both sides of the brain working and both feet, on the ground on different sides. And so that's what I mean by that.
Probably
Yeah.
planning it out, measuring
Oh,
all
yeah.
the
I took it way more literally, and I thought you were going to be focusing exclusively on heads.
On
And I
heads.
thought, well, that would be, that would be an interesting
Interesting.
motif.
Well,
Okay.
and because you mentioned that, so we really plan on having a lot of, and this is how we're going to involve the community, a lot of theme shows. Like hands. Maybe we'll do hands, right? Or heads. But and what we will do is we will invite community artists that aren't really part of the gallery, or maybe they're not there yet to be in a gallery, but do a call to artists for a watercolor show or something where we can get just people living in the community who want to show their art, or maybe a high school competition or something. But we always want to have something going on that is bigger than just the gallery itself, and that's kind of how we plan on drawing in the community. So.
Well, I think this harks back all the way to the start of our discussion where, I said, well, how is this going to not be Art Spirit Mark II? And you had talked about Steve Gibbs functioning as a catalyst for the entire artistic community in Coeur d'Alene. And so when you're talking about maybe continuing that legacy, it's not just inhabiting the gallery space, but the MODUS and the way you're going about this seems to be sustaining that catalyst and sustaining that momentum and that energy.
Yeah.
And that's even goes to our programming, and all of the artists that are involved are kind of contemporary art, But when we were thinking of how we were going to organize ourselves and the programs we were going to do, we intentionally thought of the other art galleries in town. You've got Coeur d'Alene galleries, and they're mostly Northwest theme. You've got Emerge, which is emerging artists, and they do classes, and they're a nonprofit. So we decided right off the bat we don't want to be a nonprofit because we don't want to divert funds from Emerge. We love Emerge. We started at Emerge, and so we wanted to fit in between everything else that is happening so that we can be not competition, but an asset and cooperative with all the other galleries. So that's really important to us that there's room for all of us. We all do different things, and we just all fit together because one art gallery is great in a town, but when you have 3 or 4, it starts to become a destination, that synergy. And so we're really hoping to help galvanize. Oh, and J. Rome Gallery also,
Right.
Downtown. So we really want to all work together, and it's really important for us.
And it sounds to me like you have put a lot of thought behind this. So there's the excitement and kind of almost the exuberance of being able to move into a gallery space, but you've really thought kind of very systematically and systemically about how you're going to approach this and not step on toes, and how you're going to incorporate the members of the community.
Yeah, we just think that's an important thing.
Yeah.
And so in terms of activations, I have heard you say that you are not planning on doing any classes of any sort and kind of maybe leaving that to other galleries. And of course, that takes staff and more time, so that would add another component. But I'm sure you will do Second Friday events, like the one that's coming up on June 12th, which will be tomorrow. And so you're going to have activities. What sort of life do you envision in this space?
Well, I mean, Art Walk, which art is our second Friday, and we call it Art Walk. We'll definitely have a new show for every Art Walk, and then we'll do demonstrations. We're not going to really hold classes. I don't expect, but one of the benefits of being a member is you get to use this beautiful space
I was gonna say that.
for your own events. Like on the month that Andrew and I are doing our show, all of my sculptures have stories and a lot of symbolism, and I want to tell people what those are. So we'll do an art talk and be able to go through each sculpture for those 2 people that show up that are interested in it, right? But So the artists will have art talks there. They'll have demonstrations. They'll, maybe have salons where we can just talk about a particular art topic. It's like
Maybe parties. I don't
maybe
know.
parties for sure, but we always want to have something going on there. We want that just to
And give the
be,
freedom to artists and the members to use that space
yeah,
to propel their art career and give them the creativity of using a space to be
yeah.
like, oh my gosh, I can use it for this event or do this. And so
So
I'm
that,
really
yeah,
excited.
all
Yeah.
the artists are allowed to use it for anything they want as long as it's art centric, it's free, and it's open to the public. And they can kind of do whatever they want to with that. And I really hope they take advantage of that. And it's just a living space.
And you'd mentioned that membership right now is $150 a month,
Mm-hmm.
and you attempt to offset that through what seems to me a very attractive commission structure. So can you talk about
Attractive to who?
well,
Not so much for the gallery.
I guess that's debatable, but from the artists who you are attempting to support, it seems to me like it would be a very attractive commission structure. So can you walk me through the commission structure, just full stop, and then also, we talked about intentionality, some of the intentionality and philosophy behind that.
Yeah, so most galleries, a lot of people don't know this, but most galleries charge a 50% commission. So half of that sale price goes to the gallery, and good galleries really earn that. I mean, they spend a lot of money on advertising, and it's hard to hang a show and be present in publications. There's really a lot that goes into it, but 50% of the sale price of the art goes to the gallery, and 50 to the artist. So we wanted to be more artist friendly than that, and so our standard commission for members is 20%. And our philosophy is, gosh, you sell one or two pieces of art in the year, and you've paid for your entire year of member dues, and then you get the benefit of using the space and being a part of this great community. And that goes for the owners too. We don't get the owners. We pay dues also. So, we don't want, we call ourselves owners legally, but we really have set ourselves up to just be members like everybody else. And then when we have outside artists come in that aren't members, because we'll have some special shows, we're just going to charge 40% for them. So we want it to be accessible. We want the artist to thrive, monetarily,
I think because we're all artists too, we realize how much work it takes, and we really want to like give that power back to an artist and say, "You work so hard, like be a part of this, work hard with us, and then take home your winnings."
yeah, yeah. So so we're a bit of a hybrid. The word collective gets thrown around a lot, and we're kind of a collective. I mean, we have 5 owners, so it's an LLC, and then we have members. So what's different about us from a collective is, normally a collective, you have a number of square feet on the wall, and it's up to you to curate that, and you just switch out stuff constantly. And sometimes that term can insinuate, doesn't always, but it can insinuate a little lesser quality of work up there, and maybe not even cohesive from one end of the gallery to the other. So we're running this like a high-end, fine art gallery. Everything is curated, but we do have members, so it is a little bit of a hybrid. And I think that I know there's other galleries, I'm sure, that are doing the same kind of thing, but it was kind of a new concept for us, and
We really went through it trying to decide
we
what
did.
to do and how to make that the best for the
But
space.
we want it to be an elevated space for sure, and that was how we decided that we were going to do it. Is we'll curate it with your work, and you will help us to the artists will help curate their own shows, of course, but ultimately, we have the decisions on what goes where, because we want it to be cohesive. Yeah.
So as we kind of wind down, I'd almost like to allow us to indulge in a thought exercise in where MODUS is in maybe 18 months. So a year, you've kind of are collecting the artists or putting together the artists who are going to take you through that first 12 months. Mm-hmm. But where do you see yourself maybe 18 months from now? What does the space look like? What's going on? Mm-hmm. And how have you maybe integrated with the other folks on Sherman Avenue?
I would think we are still collecting artists. We're still, whether the year our artists can choose to either sign back up or be a part of it more. But I feel like that will be a growing part of it, which will also, I think, give new life to it and will be constantly changing. I feel like, isn't that art, right? Like, it's not just like where you think you're going and where you end, whether you plan it or not, or where you think so I think that will be interesting to think about. I don't.
Yeah. So that when a member signs up, they commit to a year, mm-hmm. and so at the end of that year, they can choose to leave, or I can't imagine us not asking them to renew, but maybe
maybe we'll beg.
I mean, the truth is, if they're not taking advantage and of this opportunity and contributing as well, then that would definitely be grounds for taking a look and see if they really want to be there, but. 18 months, I would like for Toby's family and my family and all the other families that are involved who've put in thousands of dollars into this to be made whole. That would be nice. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
After 18
just break
months.
even,
Yeah. None of us are going to retire
and
from
sell
this,
our art
and sell our art. Yeah. But I think that, the artists that are on board now, most of them are quite seasoned and they know how all this works. So they're excited for this type of venture to happen. I think what's going to happen is after 6 months of operating, the other artists that are out there that are like, I just want to see how this goes, mm-hmm. and it's going to pick up steam. They're going to want. We turned the office into a lounge area. We just want to hang out there, and so I think that we will, have more applications than we know what to do with is what I hope. And not just for our bottom line, but because people see that there's something really cool and exciting happening and they want to be a part of it. And so I think in 18 months, we're going to be full membership, I'm sure, in I would say in the next 6 months for sure. So, but we'll have some turnover. People are going to move. We really are focusing on Northwest artists. We're not bringing people in from the East Coast or anything. So people are going to move, and it'll be dynamic. But I think one other thing that you mentioned is how do you keep this fresh? Because 22 artists, you have to keep the gallery fresh every month, and it's not just regurgitating the same stuff over and over again. I've designed some movable walls that we're going to hang from the ceiling where we can kind of change the configuration of the gallery, the curating, and just make it dynamic. So every month when people come in, they're not going to see the same art, and that's super important. Otherwise, you're just I don't know what you are at that point. If you have the same art on there, it just becomes stale, and we definitely want to avoid that. So
we're dreaming lots of dreams. So hopefully by then too, we're working out some of those dreams and creativity and creative ideas and immersing it more into the community and around.
Oh, cool. Yeah, well, we have our own way of keeping things fresh and keeping things dynamic here because we close every interview with the lightning round.
Uh-oh.
Ooh.
And this is 4 random questions.
Oh, shit.
Well, semi-random because I have curated.
Yeah, they're not random. You're not just coming up with them right now.
Oh, I can come up with 4 questions for you?
Yeah. Ooh, Toby.
That would be an interesting spin on the lightning round, but no.
No.
I'm not
Okay.
prepared for that.
Yeah.
So I'll let you be the ones who are unprepared. So do I have an assent from someone who wants to go first? The first question is always an either or, so you get a binary choice.
Okay, I'll go.
Okay, Toby.
Yes.
Always be forced to whisper or always be forced to shout? And I am talking 100% of the time, so...
Always forced to shout, period.
Oh.
Stop. I love it. I'm a loud person, so...
Always forced to shout.
People wish I would only be forced to whisper, I think, is...
But if you have any say in the matter, it's going to be always
Yeah,
shout.
it's loud.
Okay.
I know. Are you asking me the same question?
You get the same either or.
The absolute opposite of what she just said. The absolute opposite. So I put my noise canceling headphones on, and I don't play any music. I just shut the world out is what I do.
That's dark.
So whispering... Yeah, maybe after I should go to Brian, should I go to counseling after this?
Reevaluate your emo.
Yeah, so definitely whispering for me.
Okay, we have a shouter and a whisperer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Excellent. Second question allows us to get a little more philosophical and a little more personal. What is a small thing that has had an outsized impact on your life? And that could be a gesture, that could be an object, however you want to interpret that.
A small thing. It's a little bit of a generality, but the right musical chord at the right time, or the right single word in a lyric at the right time, can just make me collapse, I think. And that's so it's a small thing, but it has a huge impact on me. And so I would say that.
Can you give me a for instance, and I know it's hard to do on the spot, but can you give me a for instance from your life where you've heard that magic chord or that magic lyric and you're like, I'm melting now?
Yeah. So there's a song by the Paper Kites, and I can't remember what the name of the song is right now, but the lyric is, "You're gonna feel something." Like at some point in your life, you're gonna feel something. Talking to someone who is like me, who's stoic, and I've got a sculpture titled "You're Gonna Feel Something." It's actually a sculpture of my daughter, showing frustration. And so that line, I could sit on that line for a while, because it's deep waters.
Yeah, it seems fitting too. You're going to feel something. And it's almost like a command as well.
Yeah.
That's precious.
Yeah. So, same question.
Mine, this sounds silly, but I would say a great outfit, like a great putting together something fun and fluffy and loud and crazy. It will just carry me. It will give me motivation. It will,
Did you put on this outfit that you're wearing now? Which is kind of like fleecy, very comfy. Did you put that on specifically for this podcast, or are you coming from somewhere else?
Yeah, I was thrift store shopping. These are just the outfits I wear around.
Well, that makes thrift store shopping into an even more special occasion.
Yeah,
when you've got the
I
right
think you
outfit
should
for it.
always, feel the most fabulous. Be a princess walking in the room. Feel good, and yeah.
I will guarantee you, though, that this outfit, from the shoes, socks, I don't know how many bracelets you have on here, but this has never occurred ever before. This was a one-off. Every time she comes, the combinations are absolutely amazing and always one-offs, I'm quite sure.
They're
right?
special.
So, Toby, the next one goes to you. The zombie apocalypse has hit.
Okay.
You need one famous person from history to be on your team.
Yeah, that's hard.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is because most people would say, "Oh, I want a family member." We're eliminating all of them. We're assuming they're along for the ride. You get a famous person from history.
Famous person from history. Wow, this is really hard. Okay.
And if you want to pass to Chris and think that he's going to...
Whoa. That was not disclosed as one of the rules of this game.
The rules are that there are no rules.
Yeah.
I don't know. That is a tough one. I think Sheila and I have always talked, if we see the mushroom cloud off in the distance because someone's decided to bomb us, we're just going to walk toward it, because I don't want to. I don't want to live in a world that. So the zombie apocalypse.
You sound like my husband. I'm always like, I got a will to survive, and I want to see how it goes down.
I don't want to see my wife's skin all fall off and nuclear holocaust. No, I don't know. Famous. This isn't really a famous person. First person I thought of was Doc Holliday from Tombstone. Not necessarily. I guess that is a historical figure. There actually was a Doc Holliday, but
fictionalized many times over, or dramatized.
He's the Val Kilmer version of Doc Holliday. That's the first person I thought of. He'd stand in front of me, between me and the zombies. So yeah.
So Val Kilmer as Doc Holliday from Tombstone.
Right.
That's who you're bringing with you.
That's what I'm bringing with me. Yeah.
Okay.
I feel like I'm bringing someone silly or someone create. I'm like, what about like Picasso? Like someone you could just be crazy with at the end. Like, let's just go for it.
So he's not defending you. He's
we're
he's
just having
entertaining
a good time.
you. He's entertaining you till the end. I get it.
We're making art. We're chatting.
I love the way that this highlights your two different philosophies or your two different mindsets towards life. So, if you're not walking towards the mushroom cloud, you're like, okay, we want a very practical asset to our team. Whereas you're like, whatever, we'll just kick up our heels.
Sarah,
yeah,
Exactly.
All right, and then finally, Chris, you ended up going first last time, so I'm going to kick this back to you, Toby.
Okay.
Did you
Fair.
have an imaginary friend as a child?
Absolutely.
Can you tell us about your imaginary friend?
It was, it's just like my same age and just someone I would talk to all the time, and we would come up with ideas and make havoc in the neighborhood. I used to make perfumes and sell it to the neighbors, draw on the streets. It was pretty crazy. And my imaginary friend, she told me what to do, and I did it.
Oh, so she was on kind of your left
On my
shoulder?
shoulder,
Yeah.
just this is a great idea. And I'm like, yeah, it is. Let's go. So.
And did you have like a visual concept of this friend? I mean, did she look like you? Was she?
No, I didn't
like
necessarily
evil
have
Toby?
just someone I could talk to. Yeah, no, just slightly crazier.
I would like to get a vision inside your head just for an hour. See what goes on in there.
You'd be scared.
I'm sure I would. You and Picasso and what was your imaginary friend's name? We
I didn't call it anything. It just was like maybe someone I could just talk to because no one wanted to talk with me endlessly about nothing.
I didn't have an imaginary friend. Maybe I should have. I don't know. But
You
no.
get one now.
You
can
really?
Yeah,
dream
it's
it
never
up.
it's never too late to get an imaginary friend.
Is that going to be my midlife crisis? Is getting an
Ooh,
imaginary friend?
yeah.
I'm going to be the guy walking down
Talking to
Sherman
yourself?
Avenue talking to myself.
Like
right?
I do. Yeah.
No, I didn't have an imaginary friend. No, I'm way too practical for that.
Wow. Okay, again, I'm glad that you come in and you offer this contrast because we have the person who's too practical for an imaginary friend, and then the person who's like, yeah, my imaginary friend told me to go torch the shed.
As we were talking about, in our meeting, who's going to come here, we're probably the two diametrically opposed people in our group, I would say, right?
Yeah, I mean, maybe you and Maya too, or us.
Yeah.
Me and Maya are along the same lines of silly fun.
Yeah.
Well,
it gets fun.
For the contrast alone, I am so glad that you came in and talked me through what's happening at MODUS, and then shedding some light not just on your own backgrounds but also your fellow owners as well. So thanks.
Well, we're so excited, and thank you so much for having us.
Yeah, appreciate what you do. Highlighting the creativity in the area here. It's a great asset.
This has been A Line Around Your Thoughts. My name is EJ Iannelli, and my guests this week were Toby Keough and Chris Grubb of MODUS Fine Art Gallery. More about their work, as well as the other MODUS members, is at modusfineart.com, and that's MODUS. As we close, a nod to our founding sponsor, Rogue Heart Media SPC, proudly rooted in Spokane and supporting our community with media that makes a difference. For more, visit rogueheart.media. If you are interested in becoming an episode or a season sponsor and keeping these conversations going, please reach out through our website at alaytpodcast.com. And to show your support for A Line Around Your Thoughts and even join the conversation yourself, become a part of our Patreon community. Check out our page at patreon.com/ALAYT. You can also get updates and engage with us on Mastodon at alaytpodcast@pnw.zone, on Blue Sky at alayt.bsky.social, and Instagram at alayt_podcast. Until next week,